Well, I didn't expect to make this video this soon. I definitely thought that something is going to happen if you guys watched my video on my main channel, because it was very unusual for the palace to let people know about the health condition of the queen. They've never did that before. And I thought that it's serious and it will probably happen this week. I definitely didn't expect it would happen minutes after I uploaded my video. God rest her soul, I gotta say. We're going to go into how people react on Twitter. Obviously, certain people, and it's not random Joes, it's university professors, didn't take long in order to say how happy they are that it happened, to the point where Jeff Bezos, of all people, called called them out on it. We're going to look at that, but I don't want this stream to be focused on just the negatives. I want to talk about what's going to happen next, and I also want to talk about a few other things like her accomplishments, what it means for the British people, which, by the way, even in modern times, support the monarchy to quite a significant percentage. I mean, given the fact that the whole concept of monarchy means that there are people who are born to be better than you, right? Like that's what the queen is, and the royal house is. Like, these are aristocrats which are born into privilege, like the left likes to call it. But legitimately, like, they're born to rule, right? Like, they're born to be on top of other people. So it's just a birthright. And in modern times, other nations would find that to be unthinkable. It's like, what do you mean you're better than me just because you're born in this family? But in the UK, the monarchy still is very respected by the people. It's something of a tradition there. And I mean, Doug209 in the chat says that they were already talking in a tone like she was already dead. I don't disagree with that. I thought that she was going to die when I was making the video. Like, I was certain it will happen this week, simply because, as I mentioned, you had world leaders issuing their concern, and every member of the royal palace was rushing to get back into the United Kingdom. And on top of that, the fact that the palace let people know about the condition of the queen was foreshadowing, right? I mean, she had other health issues before, but never before did we see so many people being agitated. The changing of the guard, as I understand, was also postponed, so it was quite obvious. Like, they were trying to get the public to get used to the idea, basically, that it's going to happen. And, well, unfortunately it did. And I'm saying unfortunately not just because I'm really, like, I'm not a British person. I don't live in the UK, so I don't have any loyalties to the crown. I obviously didn't met the lady. But unfortunately, because I'm looking at who's going to take over. And doesn't look good. I don't really like Prince Charles, I gotta say. I'm very skeptical of him. And the United Kingdom is a major player on the world stage. What happens in the UK is going to affect the rest of us. And Prince Charles looks like a pick for the worse, let's put it like that. He wants to modernize the monarchy, which means gaining more political power, having more political issues, and more of a stake into how the country is ran. Obviously, it's going to be up to the British people to accept or reject that, but I'm sure that if he supports the current thing over and over, it might actually end up well for him, but not well for a liberal democracy. So that's my first take. Trey, thank you for the $10. Did you see all the evil takes on the timeline? Even Jeff Bezos is appalled by the stupidity. Yeah, we're going to go into that. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. I guess, like, me retweeting Jeff Bezos is definitely something that I didn't expect in this timeline. There's very little that me and Jeff Bezos have in common. And usually Jeff Bezos doesn't try to have political takes, which is very awkward. But I suppose even he has his limits. Most of these people that support the current thing, as they like to call it on the internet, they have this facade of what they say in public, but behind closed doors, they have their personal opinions. And to see Jeff Bezos like come out and call out one of these things, I'm actually going to show it to you right now, so you guys know what I'm talking about. I also have to say, like, this is I guess a consequence of censorship. Well, we're going to leave it at that. And here she go. Oh my God! So she immediately deleted the tweet. All right. Well, that's fine because the internet is forever. So I was actually talking with with a subscriber of mine, and he was going to say that let's start the clock to see when she will delete the tweet. And I guess it took less than 1 hour. This is a university professor. I don't know where she is located at. I assume that she is somewhere in the English-speaking world, probably UK or the United States. I might be wrong. But I heard the chief monarch of a thieving, raping, genocidal empire is finally dying. Right? And Jeff Bezos himself, which again, Jeff Bezos doesn't talk about political takes. He doesn't really express his political leanings that often. He says, this is someone supposed working to make the world better. I don't think so. Wow. Because Uju Anya, as far as I know, she is a political activist. She is a university professor that's an anti-racist. And it's interesting that she doesn't know that the British Empire led the charge to end slavery worldwide. I don't think any other empire could have done it because the British Empire spanned across the world, and they waged war against slavers. And there's also the Congo kings, right? Like the Congo kings, they implored the British Empire to ask anything of them except to end slavery. The reality is that history is very complex. It's not just black and white as the left likes to frame it. And the Queen, you know, like even if you were to believe that the British Empire was bad and, you know, you don't see any of the good that it has done, you can still make the argument, well, but the Queen, the current one, had absolutely no say in it. Like, she went on the throne after slavery was ended. She held more of a, how should I put it, she was more of a figurehead, right? Like, she was more of a symbol. She wasn't like a dictator or anything. Like, she didn't have much political power. So it's not like she's responsible for anything that the British Empire did, because again, like, she is just a figurehead. So again, like, a university professor would be expected to know all of this, but unfortunately, as we can see, the more educated a person is, the more dumb their takes are on Twitter. And yeah, I mean, what else can you say? And the reason that I say that censorship is sometimes a good thing for people on the right is that very often you see people on the left passing away, right? Like left-leaning activists. Let's say, okay, let's imagine someone on the left, George Soros, okay? Like, let's say George Soros passes away of old age. Surely there will be many right-wingers that are going to want to say something nasty about the fact that this would have happened. But the thing is, like, if they say something nasty, they get censored, right? So they get banned. So you don't see the nastiness coming from the right. Meanwhile, the left is not used to censorship because they believe it only happens to their opponents, so they fully express themselves. Now, the world, people who aren't into political activism, they get to see that, well, people on the left are always vindictive. They always say bad things. They always cherish when a person passes away. I gotta say, like, this is something of, I guess, good manners. Even when we have in our family, even when we have a member of our family that we know for sure that they were evil, I mean, everyone might have someone in their family that's a drunkard or someone that's cruel, someone that's not a good person. When they pass away, it's common decency to basically just forget about the bad things that they did and focus on the good. Like, basically, don't speak ill of the dead is always a thumbs up. Don't speak ill of the dead. I mean, they passed away. And if you want to speak ill of the dead, at least wait a little bit. But that is definitely not what we are witnessing. Will anyone cry for George Soros? Yes, there will be a lot of left-leaning people that will cry for George Soros, I'm pretty sure. I hope Charles will stay neutral. Well, from what I gathered, and many of the declaration that Prince Charles has done, is that he will not stay neutral. He wants to modernize the monarchy. He wants to take a more active role. And this... Give me a sec. Hold on. I got my alarm so I can put eye drops into my cat's eye. Here we go. So, yeah, my cat has an eye infection, and I need to put eye drops in it 4 times a day, and I have an alarm to remind me of that. Monarchies can still get screwed. Yeah, I mean, that's the point. The reason the Queen managed to hold such a high approval rating of the monarchy is due to the fact that she was political neutral. Like, she did her best not to get involved into politics, except a couple of times when... I believe politicians wanted to take away some of the privileges from the crown, and she had an army of lawyers and people working behind the scenes in order to maintain the crown's privileges. But, that's not something overtly political. The main problem with a monarch that would get political is that obviously like when you take a stance on a divisive issue, like let's say the Queen would have taken a stance on Brexit. Like, Brexit was a kind of like a 50-50. Sure, in the end, more British people wanted Brexit than not. But it wasn't like a 80% for and 20% against, right? Like, it was kind of on the edge. Now, if the Queen would have came out and she would have said that, yes, she is for Brexit, well, then the other percentage of the population that wasn't for it would have had a more negative view towards the monarchy. And over time, if she kept having political takes on divisive issues, the percentage of people that didn't like the monarchy would have grown. So one of the main reasons that the monarchy is so well viewed in the United Kingdom is precisely due to the fact that the Queen stood away from politics. So Prince Charles is going to have a choice. Like, he can take an active role and risk alienating the public and is going to drop the number of people that want to support the monarchy. Or he can follow what the Queen did and try to stay away and become politically neutral. And by doing so, he may actually maintain the same prestige that the monarchy had in the UK for all these years. Prince Charles, yes, he is a climate alarmist. Now, like the thing with the climate and all that, it's all fun and games. Like, a lot of people like to pay lip service and they like to say, oh yes, well, I'm an environmentalist. Oh yeah, gas ban. But most people, they pay lip service to all of these things until it actually hurts them. So the moment people have to pay 3 times the gas bill, they get upset. The moment people realize that they can't drive their car towards work and they have to pay extra gas, they get upset. When people realize they have to start eating the bugs and the groceries are exploding in price, they get upset. So we notice this in many countries, like even the Greens and the environmentalists, they're most likely nibbies, right? Like, they not in my backyard. They don't want the environmentalism to happen in their backyard. What they want is to go on Facebook and to claim that they are championing the environment and that they're, for Greens, and to shame other people for not being like them. But the moment they actually have to pay for their policies, that's when you start losing these people. So that's the problem with being like a climate alarmist as a politician. It's still a very divisive issue. Although, I will say this. In the United Kingdom, like recently, they're talking about... Sorry, they're not. They passed the legislation to reopen fracking in the UK, right? So take into account that before the Cold War, Europe was energy independent. It didn't need Russia, right? So the reason that you have the problem that with the war in Ukraine right now is because most of European nations, including the UK, they wanted gas from Russia because it was cheap. So as they're taking gas from Russia, you now have the luxury of environmentalist groups, some of them funded by Moscow, which were advocating for many countries to cripple their energy sector. And what this led up to is that all of these countries, they destroyed their energy sector and they started getting gas from Russia. Until the gas closed. And now that the gas closed, well, now it's really bad because it happened suddenly. It didn't happen over time. So now all these countries, they have to find alternative ways. They have to restart their fracking. They have to restart their gas production. The big issue is that you may wonder, okay, but why is UK suffering because of it, right? Because UK is a country far away from Russia. What the fuck does UK have to do with Ukraine? The answer is that UK was taking gas from Norway. Now, Norway is now giving gas to Germany because Germany was taking gas from Russia. So Germany, which doesn't want to freeze this winter, is now taking gas from Norway. So the UK isn't taking gas from Norway, so now they're having to pay the large electricity bills and all that. So yes, like Germany is directly responsible for the UK freezing this winter. You can also view this as a big FU that the European Union is giving to the UK for having left the Union. Right? Like this can be seen as a revenge, it can be seen as an economic warfare or whatever you want to call it. But I guess now you know. Have you noticed the sun is putting out more heat? No, I didn't, actually. It's autumn. She had a heart attack when she saw the palace's energy bills. Oh my god. Honestly, I do think a lot of people will have a heart attack when they will see their energy bills this winter. Like, I already seen bills coming out, and I have no idea whether they're true or not, because on the internet, anyone can be Santa. However, it is true that the gas prices are rising, and it's going to affect the little people a lot more than the rich. All right, so let's look at this article, which I think is very interesting. What happens following the Queen's death, right? Because this is something that I also looked at. And we're probably going to get bombarded on television with this because I remember when I was a kid and Prince Diane passed away. I couldn't see my cartoons. It was all over the news. People kept talking about it. So I do expect, like, in whatever country you're in, you're going to hear this news nonstop. So the Queen served as the UK monarch for 70 years. And this is apparently the second longest serving monarch in history. Obviously, due to modern medicine and all of the technology we have, plus the peacetime and all of that, helped her live to 70 years. So apparently, Politico reported on the full details. Well, if Politico reported, let's see the actual thing. All right. So, in the hours after the Queen's death, a call cascade will take place, informing the Prime Minister, the Cabinet Secretary, and a number of the most senior ministers' officials. The Prime Minister will be informed by the Queen's Private Secretary, who will also tell the Privy Council Office, which coordinates the government work on behalf of the monarch. So this already happened. This will be referred to as D-Day. Each following day will be D+1, D+2, and so on. The royal household will issue an official notification delivering the news to the public. A call script for department permanent secretaries outlining how to break the news to their ministers, seen by Politico, said that we have just been informed of the death of Her Majesty the Queen. Ministers will be told that discretion is required. Well, this is very interesting because this is not the scenario we're looking at. Right, like they announced it to the public right away. They didn't wait at all. Now, I know that some people suggested that she passed away, I believe, like last year or something. Now, of course, the fact checkers fact checked and debunked it because she appeared online, and some people claim to have seen her. I personally, first of all, I don't like the word conspiracy theory, right? I like the word hypothesis. Like, people hypothesized or accused that she passed away for a year now. I don't see the reason for keeping it from the public. Like, there's no advantage of it, right? So this is why I don't believe that she passed away earlier and people held it a secret. Like, it's completely rubbish. Stacy Funk, you're not talking to yourself. I'm actually checking the chat intensely. Ministers and senior civil servants will also receive an email from the cabinet which says, "Dear colleagues, it is with sadness that I inform you the death of Her Majesty the Queen. Upon receipt of this email, Whitehall flags will be lowered to half-mast. The aim is that this can be done within 10 minutes. In an exercise undertaken several years ago, Downing Street raised concerns that this would be impossible as it does not employ a flag officer and blah, blah, blah." Did they lower the flags half-mast? I'll have to check on the news. I don't see why it would be impossible. I definitely think that in such a situation, they could probably do it. The UK Parliament and the devolted legislatures in Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland will adjourn. If Parliament is not sitting, it will be recalled. In a sign of the times, many of the immediate plans to relate to social media. The royal family's website will change to a black holding page with a short statement confirming the Queen's death. Gov.uk will display a black banner at the top. All government, department, and social media pages will show a black banner. Let's see if this actually happened. I'm really curious. So let's look at gov.uk. Yes, this is actually true. Like, they did display, as we can see, a black banner. Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, 21st of April, 926. Jesus fucking Christ, that's a long reign, man. Like, that's but yeah, they actually did do that. My Twitter notifications is full of dank. Let's see what Count Dankula has to say. I mean, he is from the UK, so I think he's got a check mark, doesn't he? Oh, so Count Dankula is basically cherry picking every single social justice activist who is happy that she passed away. I'm going to say this, like, given the fact that the Queen was beloved both by left-winging people and right-wingers, everyone that's in a high position, and you're going to see university professors, you're going to see activists and journalists, every one of them who are happy that the Queen passed away will probably get fired in 1 week or so. I'm calling this before it has happened. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe not, we'll see. But I genuinely think that every single person, and again, in case you're new to the stream and you haven't seen it, let me show you again. Jeff Bezos himself came out and mocked one of these quote-unquote anti-racist university professors who deleted their message, right? This tweet violated... Okay, so they didn't delete their message. No. They got in trouble for a TOS violation on Twitter. Now, why this is interesting is that they had the blue check mark. So having a blue check mark usually prevents you from getting TOS violation. I have seen people with blue checkmark doxing. I have seen them issuing death threats. I have seen them doing most violations imaginable. Very rarely do they get banned. But you have this activist, which again is a university professor, who wished pain excruciating on the Queen, and they got suspended. And by the way, like, I don't think this tweet itself is a violation of TOS. Like, I generally think that it's a horrible thing to say, and I think that it's something that a vicious person would have said, but I mean, looking at the Twitter's TOS, I don't see how you can interpret it as a violation, but like due to the nature of the event and due to who the person is, like, yeah, okay. They're not going to get away with it. Yeah, it's just offensive. Like, that's how I would call it. It's an incredibly offensive tweet, which, by the way, would be interesting to see if these people would be charged under UK law. Because under UK law, you're not allowed to do offensive tweets. So you might see a lot of these leftists who are celebrating the fact that the Queen passed away might get convicted by the British government. Like, that would actually be interesting. I'm pretty sure there would be people on social media that are going to look at, oh, well, this person is happy that the Queen passed away. Well, I'm offended. And they might actually call the cops on them. And the cops in the UK, from what I could gather, they don't usually respond to trivial things like burglary, mugging, thieving, you know, that's whatever. But when it's posting offensive stuff on Twitter, all of a sudden they're willing to go and answer the call. So it is quite possible that you will see a couple of left-wing people who are too happy that the Queen passed away getting into trouble with this. Yeah, in the UK, according to Journal 1084, people can be arrested for offensive tweets. So that is actually correct. Hello, Latvis. Welcome to the show. I'm just saying, like, I'm not the one making the rules. I'm not the one making the laws. I think arresting people for offensive stuff on Twitter is incredibly ridiculous. I think that it's a waste of police money. I think that it's trivial shit. But I'm not the one making the rules in the UK. Now, am I? Yes, according to what I said, Tactical Droid said leftists getting arrested for talking rubbish about the Queen would be very interesting to see for the reactions. Oh, I'll tell you the reactions. All of a sudden, they'll be like, oh, my free speech. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Oh, my, what are the free speech activists? Oh, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Since when do we live in a free speech world? Right? Since when do we live in a free speech society? We live in the world of safety and trust and safety councils. So, yes. I don't think she was hiding in the palace. I genuinely think that she was ill for a long time, but they didn't want to talk with the public in order to avoid the press and speculations and all of that. So, Politico reported the full details of Operation London Bridge, the code name for UK government's plan when the Queen passes. So the Prime Minister Liz Truss was just received by the Queen earlier this week, and her cabinet will meet the Queen's coffin at St. Pancras Station. Prince Charles... Oh my fucking god. Oh god. I wanted to visit London. Chat. I wanted to visit London this month. I wonder if I should postpone. But to be honest, I think like the funeral services will be long gone by the time I finish. I don't want to like you know, I can visit London, but like if everything is closed and if everything is you know, like due to the Queen's funeral and stuff, might not be a good time to visit. I might have to postpone. Prime Minister Liz Truss, who just received the Queen earlier this week, she's going to attend the funeral immediately following the Queen's death, which is D-Day. Okay, so today is D-Day, actually. Well, you know, like you say the Queen ruined my visit. It's not that. You know, I don't want to sound like an asshole. It's just that the first time I wanted to visit, there was COVID. Right? Like the pandemic happened. And I couldn't visit because I was like I was legitimately worried about the situation. And okay. Second year, it was the passports. Like, show me QR codes. And London was in a tier 12 lockdown. Third time I wanted to visit, well, my mom wasn't feeling good, so I didn't know if my mom passed away recently, by the way, so just so you guys can understand the situation. And now it's the Queen passing away. So it's like, for 4 years I'm trying to visit London, but something keeps coming up. So, Prime Minister Liz Truss was just received by the Queen earlier this week, and the cabinet will meet the Queen coffin at St. Pancras. Immediately following the Queen's death, which is D-Day, the Prime Minister will be informed by Queen's private secretary. A number of the most senior members and officials will also be informed by the general public. Ceremonial flags across Whitehall will be lowered by half-mast. The royal family website will change to a black holding with the statement announcing the Queen's passing. So the first day, okay, this is interesting. Charles will be proclaimed as the new sovereign. Oh God, like tomorrow, this is going what's happening in tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to have Prince Charles being the king of the United Kingdom. The second day, the Prime Minister will meet the Queen's coffin. If the Queen passes away at Balmoral, which happened, Operation Union will be enacted per political, meaning her body will travel to London by royal train if possible. If that is not possible, Operation Overstudy will take place instead, and her coffin will travel by plane instead. So, tomorrow, Prince Charles. Isn't that weird, though? Like, my fucking God, it is... Like, you would think that it would be dignifying if they would allow a couple of days or weeks to pass. Like, imagine about Prince Charles, okay? Like, he's still a human being, I assume. And the death of his relative, of his like what relationship is between Charles and the Queen? Is he the son or something? I don't know, like the British family tree. But you find out that the Queen passed away, right? And you're distraught, you're upset, and then you get incarnated, like you're proclaimed as the new sovereign, and you're supposed to be happy because you get the crown and shit. I mean, it's kind of weird. Like, it's a roller coaster of emotions, I would say. Thank you for the 10 Polonia Zloty, Thomas. I appreciate it. I think he's the son, yes. I think Prince Charles is the son. King Charles, at the third day, will start his tour of the United Kingdom. On the fourth day, a rehearsal of the procession of the Queen's coffin from Buckingham Palace to the Palace of Westminster will take place. The fifth day, the procession of the Queen's coffin from the coffin to the Palace of Westminster will happen, ending with a service. Usually in my country, we wait for 3 days for the funeral, but I guess in the case of the Queen, it's going to be 1 week where they keep moving the coffin around. Thank you, Alex Andrew, for 25 Romanian lei. Yeah, King. It's not King Andrew. It's King Charles. So the Queen's coffin will remain in the Palace of Westminster for 3 days, where the public will be able to visit and pay their respects. Oh God, can you imagine? Oh shit. Like, imagine you're part of the royal family and a member passes away, and there's like members of the public open. It's like a museum, and everyone goes in there and pays their respects. Like, it's going to be difficult. On day 6, the state funeral procession rehearsal will take place. Other heads of the states and VIPs from abroad will arrive for the funeral. So day 6, it's going to be a day of national mourning, something the Prime Minister and Queen agreed to beforehand. The day will be treated like a bank holiday, but if it falls on an existing bank holiday or weekend, no extra day will be given off. Employees will not be ordered to give their employees a day off. So basically, 6 days from now, let's see. So she passed away today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, on a Wednesday, I suppose every single British person will get a day off unless you're part of an essential job. And it's going to be called a day of mourning. Zenith, thank you for the $5. I was surprised when I saw the news report that the Queen was like 96. I thought she was 110. Oh, come on. She didn't look like 110. I mean, she did look like an old lady, but no, I knew she was like 90 years old. I didn't think that she's 106 or anything. So other heads of state and VIP from abroad will arrive. So if I travel to the UK 6 days from now, I might actually get to see Justin Trudeau. The day of the funeral per political will be a day of that, blah, blah, blah. On the day of the funeral will be held at Westminster Abbey, with a 2-minute silence across the UK being planned at midday. A committal service will be held in St. George's Chapel. Who are the Queen's children and grandchildren? Okay, we're going to see. Oh yeah, so Prince Charles is her son, and I again I find this to be very difficult for him. You know, politics aside, the fact that your mother passed away is probably enough to hurt him. Like I don't know the type of lives that the royal family goes through. I genuinely don't know the type of like how they behave behind closed doors. Like, do they still maintain the facade or like the royal protocol or whatever? But I assume, like, it's your mother, so you must care about her, right? And then she passes away, so you're probably distraught. I mean, when my mom passed away, I was devastated, so finding out that, oh, your mom passed away. Oh, by the way, now you need to be king. Like, we're going to crown you. It's, like, how do you feel? Like, I just can't imagine, because, like, one day is supposed to be a day of celebration and happiness, because you get the crown. And the other day, just before, is a day of mourning and loss. It's definitely not something that I would like to be in a position of. I know the Queen was old, says Man of Culture, but has anyone considered she may have had information leading to the arrest of Hillary Clinton? Oh, come on, dude. The Queen has 4 children, who she shares with her late husbando, Prince Philip. From oldest to youngest, they are Charles, Princess Anne, Prince Andrew, and Prince Edward. She has 8 grandchildren. She also has 12 grandkids. So when you look at who's in line on the throne, you have William I, George, Charlotte, Louis, Harry. Archie. I mean, I don't know anything about him. Prince Andrew, Charles' youngest brother. Yeah, okay. So yeah, basically what it says is that tomorrow we're going to have Prince Charles being proclaimed the king. I bet that this changes the British national anthem. Let me see what it is. I find it really interesting that the British national anthem is one of the few anthems that change based on who's sitting on the throne. So right now is going to be God Save the King, right? Yesterday it was God Save the Queen was the royal national anthem, right? So God Save the Queen, well, that's going to change, and it's going to be yet again God Save the King, because yeah, I expect left-leaning people to quiet down with the negative wishes, let's say. Left-leaning people are going to on Twitter at least, they're going to learn how it is to be a right-winger, where you need to zip it. Okay, like my mom used to say, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say it at all, right? So that's what we're going to notice in the next couple of days. Many left-wing people getting struck down by terms of service and community guidelines. They're going to learn to fucking zip it, right? So they're going to get censored for a little bit. Again, in case you've missed it, I will show it again. Like Jeff Bezos came out, and there was this lady, which is a university professor, anti-racist, saying that she heard that the chief monarch of a thieving, raping, genocidal empire is dying, and immediately she got banned for this tweet being a violation of Twitter rules. And Jeff Bezos saying that this is someone supposedly working to make the world better. I don't think so. Wow. Jeff Bezos being a person that usually shuts the hell up about political leanings. I haven't seen him tweet about anything political. But in this situation, I can't help but agree with him. And you're going to see many left-wing people getting banned and getting flagged on social media for saying negative and disparaging things about the Queen. But as I mentioned before, it's also illegal in the United Kingdom to post offensive tweets. So it will be interesting to see if any of them actually get in trouble with the law. Because it is offensive, yes. Like, it's a national day of mourning. And if I was a British person, I wouldn't be able to mourn in peace knowing that people on social media are insulting the memory of dear Queen Elizabeth. I mean, that's horrible. So, by the way, wouldn't have Princess Diane became queen today if she was alive? Buyer's remorse achieved. Thank you, Zodite, for the 350 Australian dollars. Yes, Derna, you would definitely be banned for that. The crown wearer will be the new gender neutral title. Oh my fucking god. God save the crown wearer. Da dum dum dum. I don't know if it could turn into a violent authoritarian swing, right? Because most British people, they love their monarchy. I will say that. I mean, the percentage of British approval for the monarchy is at an all-time high. However, if Prince Charles starts having interesting political takes, even if they're the current thing, the problem with supporting the current thing is that the time moves on, and eventually the current thing starts becoming the past thing. And if the percentage of people supporting the monarchy drops to a significant amount, then all you need is a left-wing socialist coming around and going, "Oh, why do we have a monarchy? Why is it that they're expected not to pay taxes? Why is it that in a modern day the monarch is considered to be my better and I'm the subject?" And if that happens, if that takes place, then people can simply vote to abolish the monarchy. Like that can definitely happen. If the percentage of people supporting the monarchy reaches an all-time low, yeah, such a you might even see a political party winning. It might even be a right-wing party, or the far right, as they call it. It might have like someone like Nigel Farage going like, "Oh well, why do we need the monarchy?" Blah, 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 blah. So the monarch needs to be careful with supporting the current thing, because as I mentioned before, like this is something that the Queen knew. The current thing becomes the past thing, and when the current thing becomes the past thing, then people no longer support the current thing because there's another current thing to support. Although, if history serves, if I if my memory serves, were the last two King Charles responsible for dissolving the parliament? I mean, we can expect interesting happenings. Only the title and the lyric changes. Also, at 73, he will be the oldest monarch to be crowned. Might only be a few years before it happens again. What I do notice, Colby a little bit conspiratorial, if you will. But I noticed that many people in high positions of power, whether they be the Queen, whether they be Donald Trump, Joe Biden, what's his name, George Soros, right? Like all these people that are in positions of power, they tend to live very long, don't they? I mean, they tend to live at least till 90 years of age. Maybe they have access to medical procedures that the rest of the public doesn't. I mean, it's not even a baby. Like, obviously, they have the best doctors on the planet, and they have infinite amount of wealth to be able to afford best medical conditions. But usually, yeah, like, even Prince Charles, like, he's 70. Okay. He still has, like, 20 more years, in my opinion. Like, you're not going to be, oh my god, well, it's just, like, 5 or 6. He's not like your grandfather, It's not like your dad, which, is going to pass away after the 70, 80. No, like usually the rich folk, they manage to live quite a lot. I mean, how old is Nancy Pelosi? Can any American in the chat tell me about the venerable age of Nancy Pelosi? Just so I can prove my point. Who is king and queen after Prince Charles? I don't fucking know. Because I think it changes, right? Like, It changes based on his family tree now, so you can't just look at the list of people that were supposed to follow the queen and go just one more down the line. Okay, so Nancy Pelosi is 82 years old, right? How many 82 years old people you know in your life? Because I don't know that many. I mean, most of my family passed away around 75, 79. So my point is, like, when you're filthy rich, especially when you're well connected, you're going to live a long life. Oh, Charles' son William is next in line. Okay. People keep saying, "Oh, no Prince Harry, no Prince Harry." You're not going to get Prince Harry, and they're like, yeah, it's not a good choice. Prince Harry is definitely not someone that a lot of people would enjoy. Especially, I just don't see Prince Harry. Like, if you want the monarchy to dissolve in the UK, and by dissolving I mean like people would literally vote for the abolition of the monarchy, yeah, like Prince Harry would be the person to pick. Like, he would not be able to shut up about the current thing. That's 100% true. Anyway, I got a question, alright? Like, this is something else entirely. This is something that I want to know the chat. But like, I'm actually going to start a poll about this, because this is some serious stuff, okay? So everyone, like, stop doing what you're doing. Look at the stream, because I'm going to ask you a serious question. There's a lot of people like myself who are living in abject poverty in Eastern Europe. I don't live in abject poverty, but I used to, okay? So I can empathize with them. But there are people who are living in massive poverty in Europe, and they just want one way. They just want one ticket so that they can get out of this very, very difficult situation. And apparently, this ticket has arrived, and this lady, which is 55-year-old and divorced woman, is looking for a young man not older than 35 years old to live with me in Canada. So if you take this deal, chat, you manage to become a Canadian citizen. Would you do it? Would you do it, chat? Okay, but I don't want fucking Americans to respond, because Americans just don't understand how it's like. I need someone from Europe, alright? So, obviously, this is on an honor system. Like, if you're from America, I can't vet whether or not you would do it. Life expectancy of Romania versus US, UK, Canada. Well, I have no idea. I haven't looked at it. Let's see if the chat would, again, right? Why is the chat voting no? Like, she can be a lovely lady. She can be a lovely lady. She can be a good cook. She can be a good housewife. Why are people voting no? Yeah, if you're a Canadian citizen, you can't vote. What do you mean it looks like a scheme? It doesn't look like a scheme. Maybe she's a very loving, nice lady. Why are you judging her? V is a Europe poor. I don't think people are willing to take this deal for the eggs, man. Like, I think people would take this deal for the Canadian citizenship. And on top of that, you get an inheritance. I don't know of what that amounts to, because, like, she doesn't talk about her wealth, but you might inherit something. It is like, again, she's a divorced lady. You take the deal, you go to Canada. She's 55 years old. And maybe in 20 years or so, you're going to inherit something. You refuse sex slave? You probably don't have to perform much. Okay? Like, she's 55. Like, most people, they get satisfied a lot more easy when they reach an old age. Let's put it like that. It's not like you're going to have to have sex with her like 3 or 4 times a day. I'm just saying. You'll inherit the class. Is she vaccinated? That's a good question, C-Mac. Is she See, this is what I expected from my chat. I expect people in my chat to put safety first. I expect you to be responsible, young adult. Is she vaccinated was the question that I expected the moment that I showed this, and people voted. Like 19% of you voted yes without asking the important question. Is she vaccinated? That's literally the only question that had to be asked. What if she was from Japan, chat? What if she had Japanese citizenship? Oh, Dios mío. By the way, a lot of you, and I know some of you which left me because I was shilling for VTubers, right? Like, you guys abandoned me in my moment of need. Because I saw a VTuber and I said, you know what? This anime bitch has talent. And I want to show you something, chat. I want to show you something. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Look at this. 1.1 thousand subscribers a fucking day, chat. Look at it. Look. This is what I started promoting. Boom. Boom, chat. Boom. I am so proud of her. Fucking hell. You guys ask like, oh, V, why are you promoting V? Because I can make it happen. Damn anime bitch managed to make it big. Also, I told her to start making videos. Told her, like, look, you do the shorts, like, they're good. Like, make the video. She's making videos. Her channel is exploding. And that's why I promoted Anime Girls, chat. That's why. Because I saw talent. I saw potential. I saw the chakra. The chakra was spinning around her and I wanted to teach her how to mold it. I'm not going to collab with the anime bitch. Do you know what happens when you do that? Holy fucking shit. So for those of you who aren't in the know. God, like how many people are here for me to talk about the queen? But the stream is almost over. You can tune out now. I'm going to talk about other things. The Hololive girls are collabing with guys. And that got all their pay piggies to run away. Like, I'm telling people, like, the VTube industry is fueled by lust and loneliness. Alright? Like, most people who watch VTubers, they want to see, like, the girl next door, the little sister, playing video games. Or they want to see, because they're lonely, right? If they weren't lonely, they wouldn't watch VTubers. They would go to that little sister and play video games with her. But they can't do that. And then there's the other VTubers that are putting lustful content, like Shy Lily or whatever. So, when they're collabing with the guys, you're going to make the chat feel even more lonely? Right? Like, it's even worse. It's kind of like going out on a date. Sorry, not going out with a couple. And you see another couple out there, and they're making out, and they're having fun, and they're like, it makes you feel like shit. So the pay piggy is going to jump boat. So yeah, like the infamous female VTuber male collab. Don't do it. Thank you, Thomas, for the 10 Polonias Lottie. It's not even about the horniness, I think. It's more from the loneliness aspect, right? Like a lot of people feel lonely and they want to watch like a girl playing video games because it feels like it's in their room and they're less lonely. But when a guy comes in and plays video games with her, well, the loneliness intensifies, doesn't it? I think the majority of the girls that Face Connect got is because of Hololive fans leaving them. Probably. It would be. But the thing is, like, I looked at Pippa and Tenma, and Pippa is getting a lot more subscribers than anyone else. So I definitely think it's her video format. Like, her videos get views, and the views correlate with the subscribers. Thou shall not simp. I don't think, like, simping can be stopped, man. It's a force of nature. Like you can't get a simp not to simp. Just like you can't get a chat to simp. Right? Like, it's something at an emotional level. You're not going to reach these people. You just knew that weebs can't resist anime girls. That's true. Any VTuber collab is two men collabing. Oof. Probably. But here's the thing, right? At the end of the day, like, I never expected collabs or something. I'm not even asking for it. I genuinely want to have some entertainment that's not political. Like, this was the reason I did it. I am so sick and tired of politics everywhere. Even in the movies and the TV shows that I used to like, everything now has to be political. Everything has to be... I am so sick and tired of it, chat. Like, you gotta understand, you know, for me, this is my job. Like, everywhere I go, I talk about politics. Like, with all of the people that I have on Twitter, with all of the people that I have on Discord, politics, 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 fucking politics. And then a video game comes out. Do you know what the video games me? More fucking politics. And seeing an anime girl just having fun, playing video games, being toxic as fuck, and not talking about politics. Like, for me, that was wholesome, and I wanted to promote that. Because, I don't know, like, maybe there's other people like me. Maybe there's some of you in the chat which are sick and tired of politics. You know, like, look, the Queen passed away. You go on Twitter, and you see the most mean and vindictive shit imaginable coming from the leftists. And it's like, oh my fucking god, this again. Like, can't you have someone passing away without making it political? Without having, like, some vile things being thrown at the person? So, yeah, like, I'm tired of my entertainment being shit. That's literally why I was promoting VTubers. That is the only fucking reason, is that I'm so sick and tired of everything being around politics. And I get the irony of it, because I'm doing politics on my channel, right? Like, this is what I do for a living. But, like, imagine that you do something for a living and you want to tune out. Like, when you get home, you wanna just drop what you're doing and relax. You need some R&R. You need a little bit of rest and relaxation. Just don't visit Twitter. Man, it's part of my job. You can't do what I do without visiting social media. Like, you need to stay connected so you get the news from somewhere. I am subbed from every VTuber I was subscribed for when I realized that their fathers were all males. I feel disgusted them. I will show this to Pippa. She will probably love it. And thank you for the super chat. This by remorse is in honor of the Queen. She may not have been my queen, but she seemed like a nice old lady. Well, it's kind of hard to know the type of person she was, because, again, I didn't meet her, but there's no reason to say negative things about people who passed away. I'm a mathematician. I despise math memes. I can definitely relate to that. Even politics is creeping to VTubing. Yeah, I mean, like, the V-Shoujo girls, now they're communists, and they're... Like, I saw, what's her name, Project Melody, talk about Roe v. Wade and shit, and it's like, you're a VTuber, shut the fuck up, please, for the love of God. Is Project Melody going to need an abortion? You know, like, that's another thing. Like, do anime girls get abortions? And if they do I need to fucking know about that? Can I help them with that? Like, what do they want? Why do they talk about it? It's so strange dealing with how surreal this is. Man, like, it fucking is. It really is. Like, I am so sick of everything that from America coming out, they need to stuff down politics down your throat so you forget about immersion. Hopefully with the Lord of the Rings or Rings of Power or whatever. Like, hopefully with that crashing, they might think, like, because I heard rumors. I don't know how true it is, but I heard rumors from the people that I hang out with that in the writer's room, there are writers who are now saying, okay, well, maybe we should stop talking about activism and talk about immersion and creating good stories. A very special episode of Project. Yeah, again, like, why are VTubers talking about this shit? Do I talk about lewd stuff? Do I talk about, you know, like, me showing my coochie on stream? I don't know. If I don't step on their turf, why the fuck do they feel the need to step on mine? Just stay in your fucking lane, you know? Like, do your cute anime shit and leave the politics to Steven Crowder and I don't know, Vosh or someone. One of first... you know, like, this is something else that amuses me to no end. Every time I talk about something, the chat proves me wrong. Like, I will mention something and the chat will, no, V, no, that's not it. So last time I talked about, like, there are no anime girls that had an abortion. And then the chat immediately, it's like, oh no, V, that is this anime, Ocho Majukura, and you haven't seen it. But like in episode 37, the character, Lee Mei, she gives an abortion. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Really? My tentacle by choice. Oof. Is betting here? I love betting. I still talk to him every now and then. He's such a nice guy. I talk to him about how difficult it is having a child. That's the talks that I have with betting. The thing with politics is that they're so fucking divisive nowadays. Like, they're so divisive that people on the opposite spectrum don't even want to talk to each other. The Rings of Power is based on women writers not being able to get laid. I don't know, man. I mean, it's the whole mean-spirited marketing, you know? Like, they want to say that the reason people don't watch Rings of Power is because of racism and trolls. So the first concept is like, alright, well, let's analyze racism. Alright? Rap is incredibly popular. If you look at a rap concert, overwhelmingly white people. Then you have jazz music, which is renowned worldwide. Like, even today, there are people who are fans of jazz music. You have sports, NBA, basketball, all of these things, right? Like, they got black people in it. Like, no one has a problem with black people. The fact that Obama was voted president, like, you had white people going there knowing they vote for a black person. You can't sell this to me in 2022 that a movie is not popular because it has black cast. Like, shut the fuck up. Not true. You're flat out wrong. The only reason you may, like, after pushing the concept that whitewashing is bad, you can't woke wash and expect people to think that's good. All right, like that's not how humans work. So that is one thing, right? Like, out of the way. The other thing is that the trolls are making the ratings look bad. Listen, motherfucker, you're Amazon Prime, one of the richest corporations in the world. You have so much sway when it comes to marketing. Like, you spent hundreds of millions of dollars on marketing. You managed to get all of the journalists to lockstep and say, oh no, like, your show is best. You have the IP, Lords of the Ring, which is an international, worldwide renowned IP. You got Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb to give you positive ratings. And on top of that, you deleted negative reviews from IMDb. You want me to believe that after mobilizing an army of people to promote your product, some trolls on the internet have more power than that? Like, you want me to believe that you, with your hundreds of billions of dollars in marketing, you are being BTFO'd by some random trolls on Twitter? Really? Like, is this the narrative you want to go with? Then fucking pay me. Amazon, fucking pay me. You know, if you think I can do so much damage to your brand, you know what? Pay me and I'll change the tune. I'll change the tune and I'll start promoting your brand. I will say it's the best fucking show that I have ever fucking seen. Unironically, I will. Like, if Amazon pays me, I'll put, like, supported by Amazon on the top of my screen, and I will say only but praise about how awesome Galadriel is, and how, like, amazing job. It's like, oh, this is the show that's going to beat Game of Thrones, and all of that. Like, just tell me what to say. If you can't be arsed to give me a script, I will compose things for you. I will go on the Flashcast, and I will lock stands with Lofty. I will lock steps with Lofty, and I will shield the living hell out of this show. If Amazon pays me, if they legitimately think that people like me can do so much damage to their brand, then obviously, you know, if we change the tune, I will do a lot of good to your brand. So just give me cash, Amazon. I will do it. It's not going to be V versus Jeff Bezos. It's going to be V and Jeff Bezos. Or V with Jeff Bezos. Or Jeff Bezos with V. Whatever. I will promote. Just pay me. You know what? I'm cheap. Amazon, I'm cheap. Give me $500. That's all I need. $500, I will shield your show for 1 month. That's how fucking cheap I am. I will do it. I'm a slut, Amazon. I'm a slut. Just give me money. I'll shield your fucking show. I'll go on Rotten Tomatoes right now. Right now, Amazon. I'll give it a 10 out of fucking 10. That's how cheap I am. Also shows how much I care about that show. Fucking hell. It's so absurd, right? Like, even if you'd have, like, an army of trolls giving it I don't know, 1 out of 0, you still have people going and watch. Remember what happened with The Joker, which was actually a good movie? Like, the critics, the official critics hated it. They review bombed it. People went to the cinema, they seen the show themselves, and then by word of mouth, that show ended up being a success. You can't just dissuade people from seeing something or persuade people from watching. Like, if I were to have my wife coming up to me and saying, hey, V, I went on Amazon and I saw Lord of the Rings. It's actually a good show. Do you know what I would do? I would fucking watch it. I would give it a watch because I trust my wife more than any other official critic. I trust my wife more than I trust anyone from the Flashcast or whatever. Right? But that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen because it's not a good show. You're not going to get people, like, talking. Hey, all you'd have to do is, like, someone that watches it, likes it, it would tell my wife, and my wife would tell me. But we're not going to see that. Why? Because it's shit. Same thing with Titanic. All the critics slammed it in the beginning. Yeah, like the thing with Titanic, right? Like, why did I watch the Titanic? Was it because, like, critics liked it? No, it's like someone told me, hey, V, the Titanic is really good. And I'm like, what it's about? It's like some people dying on a boat. I'm like, oh, well, that sounds boring. It's like, no, it's really good. I watched it. You know what? It was fucking boring. But still, I watched it because someone told me I should watch it. It would be weird if you didn't trust your wife. No, it wouldn't be. Like, when it comes to subjective things, like, the type of movies people like. Some people like some movies, other people like different movies. But yeah, like, me and my wife, we have, like, similar tastes when it comes to entertainment. So, you watched Titanic because the girls liked it. Abso-fucking-lutely. Like, it was women that told me to watch the Titanic. Galadriel gets wet from the beginning in the ocean. How come her dress never becomes transparent? And show the goods under? Well, yeah, because, it's a progressive movie, right? Like, they don't want to lean on titillation. It is what it is. I didn't even pirate it, chat. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, if I legitimately thought, because this is what Amazon wants to believe. They want you to believe that it's a very good movie. Like I personally liked it. There's nothing wrong with the film, but I'm just spreading misinformation to hurt Amazon or something because of racismus or whatever. But the thing is, I didn't watch it, and I have no desire to. I saw the trailer. I saw the marketing around it. I have been put away. I'm not going to watch that. No way in fucking hell. And I could pirate it if I want. I'm not doing it. I'm not even pirating it. I'm discouraging other people to do it because you know what? At the end of the day, my time is important. This is the first year where I won't even pirate it. Far Cry 6, Saints Row. Yeah, another one. Yeah, like Far Cry 6. I played it. I played it online. The AI was atrocious. The AI was so fucking bad, chat. It's painful to describe. It was boring. Like, that's the problem with Far Cry. It wasn't that it's woke. It was that it was fucking boring and bland. Trolls are strong. Why not pander to go to trolls for the dollars? Well, that's a good question. V needs to take grifting 101 from Rikieta. I don't know. I'm just... I don't want to lie to my chat. I don't want to lie to you guys. I don't want to lie to my subscribers. If I like something, I will tell you. Like, even if it's controversial, even if it's something that most of you guys say, oh no, it's fun to hate. For example, I genuinely did an honest review of Star Trek Discovery, the first season. Like, Star Trek Discovery, the first season, if you guys go back on my channel, there's an honest review. I talked about every single episode. There were episodes that I liked, and I explained why I liked them. There were episodes that I hated, and I explained why I hated them. Like, for example, I like the concept of, like, the evil human empire, and I like the concept with, like, the dark universe and shit, and I made a video, and I said, oh, well, this is good, this is bad. But in the end, like, when I got to season 2, it was just boring. Like, season 1 was fine-ish. It was, like, a 5 out of 10. There were episodes that were good. But when I got to season 2, it was just too boring to watch. And I made a video and I said, look, I can't review this anymore. It's just, it's painful. I love Far Cry 5 until the ending. I don't know. I just... The problem that I have with Far Cry is that it's too fucking generic at this point. It's like, oh, yeah, you're the guy with a rifle, and you go to point A, and you get a mission... And you do the mission, and then you get some skill points that you can put into your talent tree. um, and then you can upgrade your weapons and shit. Like, oh god, you know, it's like the RPG mixed with first person shooter thing. With Martin being involved with House of the Dragon, it really makes me realize how many authors change their own work that they have already created to fit their politics. I mean, I guess like Martin is a person that really understood history, but changed a lot of his political takes in order to be more in support of the modern thing. Probably. Far Cry 4 was pretty good as well. I like Far Cry 3 to be honest. After that, it kind of went downhill for me. Oh, hey, Roman Kenny. Um, yeah, so I'm going to end the stream soon. For those of you that keep asking, my mother did pass away. It was on September the 2nd. Um, you know, I got used to the idea. I mean, I knew for 1 year that she was sick with terminal cancer, and there was absolutely nothing that could have been done. It already invaded her heart, so there was nothing that I could do about it. It was a painful moment, which is why if you guys look at my uploading schedule, you will see that I wasn't uploading regularly. It is what it is. I mean, there's nothing else I can do about it. Life has to move on. I need to focus on my family now and make sure that everything is good. But I'll try not to talk about it in the future. I do have to say, going on a little rant. I really hate the word condolences, and I know some of you gave it. I don't hate the people giving it. I hate the custom. Like I don't understand the custom of saying condolences to someone. Like imagine, you lose two fingers, right? Like imagine you hurt your hand and you lose two fingers, and there is a word for people to constantly remind you of that. Like it gets like you try to move on from that. You try to forget that you lost two fingers, but like people keep reminding you of it over and over. So that's just something that I don't get. Like why is this a custom? But yeah. So no, I do appreciate the condolences. I do appreciate the warm feelings. It's just that it's like if I were to have a time machine and I would be able to change a custom, I would definitely change this. It's just weird. Um, but yeah, no, like I do appreciate it. I think thoughts and prayers is actually better, to be honest. That's a lot more orthodoxy, I guess. But anyway, right. Other than that, like I'm not going to bring it up on the channel again. It's not your guys' fault. Like it's not something that you guys have to deal with. I just wanted to mention it because I wasn't able to do this weekend stupid because of it, and I already made a video about that. And there's also the problem that a lot of people were asking me like how's your mom, or they were constantly trying to give me various remedies and tinctures and oils that would help her, and yeah, like no need. I appreciate it, but the event has happened, so that's why I'm bringing it up. Another thing, like people kept asking me like why do I talk about it, right? Because like, well, you're a YouTuber, you're not supposed to talk about it because like the audience doesn't care. There's two interesting things. So one reason that I bring it up is that I see people judging other streamers on Twitch and YouTubers. It's like, oh, his father passed away and yet he is happy today and he is streaming, and why is he doing this? And it's like, well, it's because it's his job, you know? Like if he was a police officer, you know, you still have to go to work the next day, right? Like it's not something that you can choose to avoid. Like if you have a real job, you're flipping burgers at McDonald's, and your mom passes away, well, the next day, you know what you're doing? You're flipping burgers at McDonald's. Like a lot of people don't understand that being a Twitch streamer or whatever the fuck, like it's still a job. You still have to show up. You still have to go there, and especially in a time of loss and family, you need money for the funeral. So you, like, I understand the Twitch streamers why they do it. And the other reason was that I had to stop doing This Week is Stupid, that I didn't want to tell every single person the reason. And I just made one video and I told everyone. So that's that. Yeah, no, I understand there now. I definitely understand. It's, yeah. It is like like one of the difficult thing of being an entertainer. I assume it's the same like being on television. You know, like if you're on Fox News or CNN or whatever, and you have a tragedy in your family, you still have to go there and present the news and laugh and whatever. In Romania, you get 5 days off. That is true, but the thing is, like, the person getting the 5 days off, they still get the pay for that month. If I take 5 days off, Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, it's not that I will get less money, but it's also that I will get less subscribers. So it would, like, I would lose financially quite a bit. Anyway, right. The train conductor has to be on time. That's a good point. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you coming on the stream. I knew that a lot of people don't like my Let's Plays. I can see that when I'm playing Half-Life, I get less than 100 views. So what I'm going to do from now on, I'm going to try to make the Let's Plays more early. Probably around the time that I've made them today. So that I finish Black Mesa. And I'll do more political streams later on. Right? Like I noticed that around this time is good. Hopefully you guys are going to come back and watch my streams. I tried to nerf my streams, I'm not going to lie. I don't want to be the next person in line to get requietad. Like Nick Requieta has got like 2 strikes on his channel. You know, he's dealing with a lot of hassle. I'm trying to avoid that. And I noticed that I was growing quite fast. I was reaching like 600 views per day. And I didn't like that. So I tried nerfing my content. I started deleting my streams. I started streaming at weird intervals. I stopped having guests. And of course, you know, there's also the competition. Like, it's a lot more competitive on YouTube and all that. So eventually, my streams dropped to less than 100 or 200 viewers. But I want to grow again. I want to reach, again, like 400 views, 500 viewers. That would be enough for me. That would be more than enough. So I'm going to try to fix that. And I will have my Let's Plays in the morning. And I will do more of these types of streams during the night. So, thank you again for your support. Thank you for watching the stream. And I will